going on around Baldwinsville with our social distancing and everything, all the other craziness going on in the world right now. So thanks for being here again, Chief. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for the opportunity. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. Not stir crazy yet, still hanging in there.
That's good. Good.
So what can you tell us? What's been going on around the village since we talked last Monday?
Well, a few different things. One thing I want to, make mention about is so far we've had such tremendous cooperation from all the village residents and businesses, and I really want to say thank you because I think the people in Baldwinsville are doing a pretty good job, certainly in the village. We'll get to maybe some incidents that might have happened a little bit outside the village later on, but certainly in the village, I think people are doing a pretty good job there. And, as I mentioned maybe the other day, it's kind of a new change for us because we're so used to, during the daytime especially, our businesses and schools being full and our homes being vacant. And now our businesses and schools are vacant and our homes are full. And that kind of changes the way we do business a little bit. But we're adapting pretty well. And then one other thing is that it's come to our attention. We haven't had any reports here in the village, but talking with some colleagues around the state, and we've heard that there's a number of the criminal element out there, the scammers, the online scammers that are sending out a lot of phishing emails surrounding the coronavirus and COVID-19 and trying to prey on people's fears and their concerns. And I would just caution and urge anyone who might want to try and help out or donate to ensure that what you're sending actual money to is in fact a legitimate charity and it's going to actually benefit someone, hopefully locally. And you really want to make sure you do your research on something like that because the criminal element, they just, certain segments just wait for situations like this to occur and they're going to try and exploit it to the best of their ability. And, so if you get those types of emails or those scams or those phone calls, just know that those are out there and be extra vigilant to know that most likely it's probably not something legitimate.
Okay. And that's good information. And you're right. It's a shame that people try and take advantage in situations like this. We do have a lot of things locally here in Baldwinsville for people to contribute to, like Baldwinsville helping Baldwinsville, which helps Meals on Wheels, the backpack program. So if it's locally, at least you can verify it a little bit easier. But I'm assuming, if somebody's calling from California and different places, but they use Beeville numbers now, so it's harder to find the scammers because the digital phone number could still say it's a local 315 number, but that doesn't mean they're calling locally. So you have to look into it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it's great to have the resources like the chamber and other resources here locally that you can vet those types of things to know, okay, is this really going to help people here locally in Baldwinsville, locally in the central New York area? And to your point, they are using those numbers. They've become much more sophisticated as time has gone on. And that's why I really wanted to bring that up because I've seen a lot of things come across my desk, alerts over the last week or so, indicating that scammers have already devised a number of different methods to try and separate people from their money.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Anything else going on or something else that we can help the community with or they can help you?
Well, a couple different things. One, something that's going on with us that's new. It's actually going to start tonight. Is locally here in Onondaga County. We're going to start video arraignments of any defendants we might have. So if we have somebody that we have under arrest later on this evening, we're actually going to have an arraignment done via a laptop computer in our booking room with a judge that's remote. Previously, we would have to take them down to the city, and in light of everything that's happening, the 5th Judicial District has put forth some guidelines and have gotten that operational very, very quickly. And then I did want to just touch base on, I know there's been some things mentioned on some websites locally and certainly on Facebook, I've seen it, of some gatherings of individuals, maybe in parking lots, just outside the village, at different places. And I would just really try and caution people to try and abide by the guidelines that the governor and our county executive have put in place. Those things are there to try and ensure that this situation is rectified in as short a time period as possible. I read this morning that the governor has extended his closure of businesses until minimally April 15th. So we know it's going to be at least a couple more weeks for that. And we would really appreciate everyone's cooperation and continued cooperation with that. And, like many people, we're not immune to those fears of what's going on in the community. I use myself as an example. I have two elderly parents that live here in Baldwinsville. I've really limited my time going over there only because I want to ensure that they're as healthy as possible. And I'm in and out of their apartment rather rapidly, just dropping off needed supplies or their laundry. I've got 4 children, and one of which is an RN here at a local hospital in Syracuse area. Another works at a skilled nursing facility. And I've got those same concerns for them, for their health. And we certainly know that this is an anxious time for a lot of people in our community, and we're not immune to that. So we feel a lot of the same things that you all do as well. So we're going to try and be as empathetic as possible when we deal with folks, only because many of us might be experiencing some of the same things you are.
Well, and that's good to point out, especially to take it home for yourself. The other thing that I noticed is people are starting to turn people in. There was a photograph that kind of circled around in the last month or so that was from Baldwinsville people. And even in my industry that I work in, they created a hotline, turn people in because everybody wants to get back to normalcy as fast as possible. And if we don't adhere by those rules, we could actually extend how long it is before we could have a block party or get back into the office or have some sense of normalcy. So are you finding that people are calling at least the village police or calling 911, or is it just more social media, quote unquote, shaming that's going on?
No, I actually have heard those calls go out. We don't just monitor calls for just the village, but it includes a much larger area on our radio frequency for our police dispatch. So we go all the way from on the western side of the county, Skaneateles, Camillus, Geddes, Solvay, Baldwinsville, Lysander, Van Buren. So we get to hear a lot of different calls go out. And certainly last week I heard a call go out of 2 people riding in the same golf cart on a golf cart in the area. So to your point, it's those types of things that, and I'm a golfer. I like to golf as much as anybody. So just be smart about it. Walk or put 2 people on 2 separate carts. Those types of things where, if people can just follow those guidelines, hopefully this situation will be over sooner, much rather than later. And, for us, from a law enforcement standpoint, we are continuing to really focus our efforts on our community policing, which right now really consists of our good neighborhood patrols and then our burglary prevention along our business district. It's our goal to try and check every business at least once a day. I'm having a staff meeting at 11 o'clock this morning with our supervisory staff. We put together a good plan and we're executing that. And we're going to make a few tweaks just to ensure that we're keeping on point and doing everything we can to keep our business community whole and safe for their businesses and their locales, and then our residents, that they see us and that we're as visible as we possibly can be.
Yeah, it sounds great. And it sounds like you guys are doing a great job in trying to adapt in a very non-normal situation that we're in. So that's definitely encouraging to hear. Well, thanks for being here again. Is there anything, Chief, that you want to say parting until hopefully I talk to you next week? And I don't think things are going to be back to normal, but maybe share how the video arraignments and things like that are going if they're working. But anything else you want to share before we kind of part ways here today?
Nope, just that if people do have questions, feel free to reach out. We do have a village Facebook page. It's not monitored 24/7, so we ask you not to use that for police type emergencies. But if you do have a question, feel free to send those in. I might not respond. I've got an officer that there's a couple of people that monitor those things, but we'll get back to you, or we might save that question for this forum next week if it's something that we think the entire community might benefit from.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you again for being here today, and I look forward to talking to you next Monday again.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
Bye, Chief.
Bye now.